Thank you so much for doing this video testimony with me. I really appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what was the problem you were looking to solve before coming and having the session with me.
Okay, so I'm Patrick Malloy. I have a background as a teacher, and also I've practiced therapies of different kinds over the years. And the problem that I came to Isabel with was, it's ironic really, having a background as a teacher and a therapist, but it was a bit of anxiety about being on the spot, and perhaps being asked questions in meetings, being live online, which I am now. It was one of those things that had become so routine and so much part of normal life that I wasn't almost aware that it really was a problem until I really thought about it. So it was really about feeling a bit uncomfortable in on-the-spot situations when people are asking you questions or asking your opinion when you haven't had a chance to prepare and think in advance. And also a bit of I guess a little bit of scopophobia, which was about being live online and doing things like Facebook Lives.
Yes. So has the session helped you solving that problem?
Well, it definitely has. And it's after the session, I did feel a bit dazed and confused, and a bit tired. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to have a bit of a rest and have a sleep for a while. But I had a sense that something had shifted. And it was only, I think it took a few days to a week for the dust to settle. But then I noticed certain situations, for example, in restaurants, when asking for a change to the menu or asking for things that perhaps was slightly uncomfortable to ask for, I found myself spontaneously asking for those things. Whereas in the past, I might have said, asked somebody else, might have sort of slightly shied away from asking the awkward questions. There was one where we were taken into a restaurant and they gave us a seat which was in right by the door, and there was a kind of gale force wind blowing through. And I went up and said, "Excuse me, I've got two children here. They're going to get frozen to death. I'm in England, by the way, and we have a better table." He said, "Oh well, I'm sorry, but they're all the others are reserved." I said, "No, but have the others got children?" And I actually was quite. He tried to fob me off, but I was actually quite. I wasn't rude, but I was quite assertive.
Yeah.
And he moved us. So that was a nice thing to notice. And there are a number of other things like that, when just trivial things like what we're going to watch on television. Whereas, in the past I might have said, "Okay, we'll watch what you want." Actually, I really want to watch this. No, let's watch this. And there's just a natural more assertive kind of characteristic. It seems to be showing itself, not being rude and not being kind of pushy, but just naturally being assertive when it's appropriate to do that. So that's great, because that is very hard to do through willpower alone. So it isn't a willpower thing. It's almost like I notice I'm in one of those situations and I see that I've got a choice. Whereas before, the default was to say, "Oh, okay, then, right, okay, I suppose we can put up with this table, or I suppose I'll watch that program." So that's really good.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Really nice. So, how would you say the overall experience with speaking and sharing your issues with me was?
It's fascinating. It's a fascinating process, which I've been thinking about. It's a little bit like peeling an onion. So there's different layers of thoughts and ideas, and sometimes beliefs that you start to see are rather absurd and quite funny. So we did have quite a laugh during the session, because I was just realizing some of the things that I was operating on some rules that were utter nonsense. And it was actually quite an enjoyable session. There was a couple of sort of slightly uncomfortable realizations, but overall it was an enjoyable process. and very enlightening. So
I'm so happy.
I don't feel there's anything to fear in the process. And the good thing about it is because I was aware and awake, and I wasn't sort of, I didn't have my eyes closed, and I wasn't in some kind of a weird trance. You don't have that discomfort of sort of wondering what's going to happen and wondering, am I awake, am I asleep, all that sort of stuff. It was very natural and a comfortable process.
Okay, good. So would you actually recommend me to your friends and family?
Oh, for sure. Definitely, I would. I think Isabel's got a very pleasant way about her. She can make a session, even if it's about something that seems really serious. She can just put a slightly light touch to it that makes you feel comfortable, and you don't feel judged at all. It's like we're exploring together. Yes. And definitely, I would recommend anybody with this sort of issue to go ahead. In fact, it's interesting because I hadn't considered that I was a scopophobia sufferer, but I think I actually was, because I'd been procrastinating and avoiding doing things like Facebook Lives, and really you don't realize you're making excuses for yourself and just avoiding stuff. And the last week or two, I've been banging out loads of Facebook Live videos, and I'm actually enjoying it. So so anybody who's got a bit of scopophobia, I think it's scopophobia, scopophobia. If anybody's got that going on, I think give it a go, because it seems to have made a huge difference for me, even though I didn't realise that really was much of an issue.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm really happy. So is there anything else you'd like to add to the testimonial?
I think what's impressed me about this whole thing is that I do know a reasonable amount about therapy and hypnotherapy, and as part of one's training and experience over the years, you go through a lot of processes, and there's lots of processes and techniques that are the sort of new kid on the block, and they're recommended to be the best thing since sliced bread, as we say. I think this approach that Isabel has, this kind of conversational approach, is quite unique, and seems to be pretty much, it's probably the most effective thing I've come across, and that's in 20 years as 20 years of being a therapist. So she's definitely onto something. So why not give it a try?
Why not?
Why not? Why ever not?
Thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate all of your input on this.
You're very welcome, Isabel.
Thank you. I wish you all the best, all of the success. I really hope you keep on going with that wonderful journey of yours.
Thank you. I'll certainly do my best.
Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Bye.
You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.